This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. Between two-factor authentication, strong passwords, and a VPN, you try to be in control of how your info is protected. But many other places also have it, and they might not be as careful. That's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats. If your identity is stolen, they'll fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit lifelock.com/podcast for 40% off. Terms apply.
The More Money Show with Steve Moore. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Yeah, just give me money, folks. That's what the More Money Show is all about, how you can make more money. So we are so thrilled to be on WABC and other affiliates throughout the country, talking about how you can make more money, talking about the economy, talking about finance, talking about politics, talking about life in general. We try to make it fun. We try to make it lively. This is the 6-month anniversary of Trumponomics. How do you like it now, folks? I'm pretty happy with the way things are going in the country, but I want to hear from you. We got a couple of great guests coming up on the show, but I've saved most of the second half of the hour to taking your calls. So don't call in yet, but call in maybe at the bottom of the hour because we want to hear from you. 1-800-848-9222 or 1-800-848-WABC is our More Money Hotline number. But before we get to that, I was so eager to bring on a friend and a colleague and a guy who I think is one of America's great innovators. I just call him Biju. He is the founder of Redbox. You may recall Redbox, where you would go in front of the the 7-Elevens and you would pick out your video, and that was a hugely successful business. He started Halo. He started about 3 or 4. He's a serial entrepreneur from India. He's the classic American success story of coming to the country, United States when he was, I think, a late teenager, and has been successful in everything he's done. And I got involved in his company, which is called Lightspeed, which I mentioned earlier in the show last hour, that this is a company that is going to build houses with robots. It's an amazing technology. I think it can change the world. I think it can really reduce the price of housing and make sure that the housing shortage that we're facing right now goes away. Biju, thanks so much for joining this afternoon.
Great to be here, Steve. Thank you.
So you've been a great entrepreneur. How many companies have you started?
This is my 5th company. Very excited. So very excited to do things that, change America and change the world in some way.
So we were talking with Steve Forbes on the last hour about, the fact that companies very rarely have a straight arrow just going up, that, you have good times and you have hard times when you start a company. Forbes magazine almost went out of business during the Great Depression. And Fred Smith, who started FedEx in the beginning, first or second year, it almost went bankrupt, and he stuck with it and it became one of the most successful companies in history. I call you a serial entrepreneur. You probably face tough times with some of your companies, but most of them have been big successes.
Yeah, no, I've been lucky to have a couple of great successes. But the thing with these companies is that building great companies it's always messy. It's never easy. It's always messy, and I always say that if at the start of all these companies, if you really realized how hard it is, most people wouldn't do it. But I think the great thing about entrepreneurs is that, and that's the great thing about America too, is we attract entrepreneurs like this, is that we're so driven by the ultimate impact and the end vision, and that vision is so great that that's what sort of lets you get out of bed every morning and go through the tough times, face a lot of rejection, go through all that, because that ultimate vision and ultimate end goal is what keeps all these companies humming, and I think it makes everything worth it at the end.
Yeah. So it's your baby, right? It's like when you create something, it's your baby. You want to make sure it succeeds.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever find yourself playing the budgeting game? Well, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, You can find options that fit your budget and potentially lower your bills. Try it at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
Mic check. 1, 2. Are we recording? Hi, I'm Michelle Bernstein, an award-winning chef, restaurateur, and mom. I have a lot on my plate, including my psoriatic arthritis symptoms. That's why I was prescribed Cosentyx. It helps me move better.
Cosentyx secukinumab is prescribed for people 2 years of age and older with active psoriatic arthritis. Don't use if you're allergic to Cosentyx. Before starting, get checked for tuberculosis. An increased risk of infections and lowered ability to fight them may occur, like tuberculosis or other serious bacterial, fungal, or viral infections. Some were fatal. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms like fevers, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, had a vaccine or plan to, or if inflammatory bowel disease symptoms develop or worsen. Serious allergic reactions and severe eczema-like skin reactions may occur. Learn more at 1-844-COSENTYX or Cosentyx.com.
Ask your rheumatologist about Cosentyx.
Absolutely. And, I always tell, a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of new entrepreneurs approach me for advice, thoughts, and, mentorship. And I always tell them you can't be doing this for the money. You have to be doing this for something greater that you're changing in the world. And that, and a lot of these things, you can always keep the vision, the ultimate vision that you're working for is more constant, but whatever your starting tactics are, whatever your starting plan is, that changes completely, when you actually hit the road. And that's always been a constant in all the companies I've started. You pivot 100 times, you go through, as you said about Steve Forbes too, you go through some really tough challenges, but
right.
But if you have that resilience, if you have the grit, and you really have that determination to change what you set out to change, you get through all that.
So let's talk about Lightspeed. You started telling me about this, I think, about a year ago when we first met. You live in the Chicago area, and I was visiting Chicago. We had lunch, and I was just blown away by this technology. Well, first of all, how'd you come up with this idea of building houses with robots?
Yeah, so I think the idea came from I think all startup ideas for a lot of entrepreneurs come out of solving some problem that very often they personally face. And for me, this was something I thought about. Literally 20 years ago, I was thinking about building my own house and just realized that, this is going to take two or 3 years if you're lucky. It's going to cost you so much, whatever you predicted the cost to be if you're lucky, and get what you want again if you're lucky. And, all the unpredictability of all of this just showed me that maybe there was a better way to do things. Gartner did a study of 50 different industries in America over the last 60 years, and they said 49 had increases in productivity except for construction. It's just, so it just basically pointed to there's a better way to do things. There's a better way to build homes, and all of America, all of our a big part of our increase in GDP, in our growth, in the economy is all driven by increases in productivity. The iPhone I'm calling you on right now, probably represents 50 other things, 50 other different devices that it encapsulates in a small box. And all these things are compressed and can be built at a much lower cost because of increases in productivity, technology, productivity, but that hasn't translated into building homes. We're still building homes like we did right after World War II. And that's wrong.
That's one of the things that really attracted me to this company is the fact that it is sort of a breakthrough technology. Now, you and I spent last weekend, you were showing me around the factory and showing me around, a demo of how it's going to work. And by the way, how could people can they, because, even the video of what these robots can do is pretty amazing. How do people access that?
Yeah, so right now, I mean, the company is just a year and a few months old. And so at the moment, we're just in the early stage with our early MVPs, minimum viable products. We're selling to developers. So our goal is first to sell to a few developers. And then as we get more of our data points out, we do want to sell to a larger audience. But we're not trying to be the general contractor, or we're not trying to be the developer. Our goal is basically to enable the existing developers, the existing contractors to access this. So right now, if somebody wants to buy a home from us, they would have to go through one of the developers or contractors that we work with. And it's a smaller data point right now. It's a smaller crowd right now, but it's going to grow as we keep making more progress.
So the video, is that available online to see the, video of how these robots work, or is that proprietary?
Yeah, no, we have some of that on our website, which is bylightspeed.com.
What is it again? I'm sorry, say it again. What is it?
It's bylightspeed.com.
Bylightspeed.com. Okay.
Yeah, bylightspeed.com is our website, and so you can see some of the videos there. But if anybody wants, there are ways to contact us on the website, and we can help anybody who's interested in this.
And by the way, I'm not here to advise people to invest in this or not. I don't care one way or the other. I think people should be aware of this technology. It's so amazing, because I think robotics and AI, Biju, are going to change. You and I were talking about this last weekend. This change is coming at a warp speed. And I think a lot of Americans aren't aware that, like, we're going to have driverless cars. We're going to have, sometime maybe in 25 years, we'll have flying cars. We'll have so much is changing because of this technology and AI and robotics and so on. And I think your company is just one example of how it's going to change the way we work and live and play and pay for things.
Absolutely. I think AI is going to make huge changes to America and dramatically increase the productivity by which we get our homes, we get our education, we get our food, and we get our transportation, as you said, driverless cars. So I think that this is just a starting point. But I think, to your point, we're just at the start, and we're just at the start of this revolution. And if people ask me, sometimes people tell me, do you think AI is overhyped? And I feel it's underhyped, because people don't realize how dramatic the changes will be. And the changes, I think it's such a great time to be alive, because these changes are going to be going to give every American the homes that today only very rich people have. And
so you were mentioning earlier, just got a minute left, Biju, but you were mentioning that the soul of the entrepreneur is to solve a problem. And we have one of the things that attracted me to this, and I'm really trying to help you solve a big problem in America, which is the cost of housing. That a lot of young people, I have two sons in their early 30s, they can't afford to buy a house now. If this technology works as you and I think it will, and your company expands as I think it will, how much do you think that this technology could reduce the price of building a new home?
30%. And
30?
I think
that's a big deal.
30%. I think it's a very big. It can reduce the cost of building a home by a third, and I think that can have a huge impact on the affordability of homes in America. And it's not, and even the people who currently have homes should get a better home with technology like this, because most of us live in a home that was built for 10 owners ago. We had somebody a long time ago in the 50s design something that was in the 50s, and now we're inheriting it after 10 remodeling jobs, and we need something new. So I think this is going to make homes more affordable for every American, and I'm very excited about what can happen with this.
One other question on the way out, Biju, and that is, by the way, Biju is the inventor and entrepreneur who has created a company called Lightspeed, which builds homes with robots. I was looking at the statistics. You were born in India?
I was born in India, correct.
Yeah. So I was looking at the statistics, and they're just amazing. The census data just came out. Americans who were born in India have an incredible success rate when they come to the United States. India is a pretty poor country. Why do you think that is?
So I think the easiest explanation for that is the way our immigration laws were designed back in the 60s and leading up to now. A lot of the Indians who came to America came with a very with a decent level of education, and they also the way the laws are situated, which is I think in a good way, right? Like basically getting they tend to be more educated than the average, just the way the way the system is set up. And I think because of that, I think education leads to a higher income level. But the other thing too is when you travel that far, so basically when you travel that far, you get a more scrappy person who's just self-selected to do more, do more entrepreneurial things, and I think that also leads to these outcomes, which is I think a good thing. It's a good thing not just for Indians, but also a good thing for the entire world, good thing for America, and good thing for the world.
Well, that's why I wanted to bring Biju on, because I agree with them on just about everything. So, Biju, thanks for coming on. Thanks for what you're doing. It's exciting. Keep track of this stuff. It's got light speed. It's going to change the way we build houses and buy houses. And so proud to know you, Biju. And come on in the next few months and give us an update, will you, how things are going?
No, absolutely. Would love to do that. Thank you so much for having me on the show, and excited to be part of this. Thank you.
Fantastic. So we'll be right back, folks. This is the More Money Show on WABC.
The More Money Show with Steve Moore on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/PODKATZ13. Just go to Indeed.com/PODKATZ13 right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.